Army probably going to be losing out this level 1 sort of part of the lane. And I mean, aggressive junglers coming out. We have the Wukong and Lee Sin. Both can look to sort of skirmish early game. I'm not sure where you focus. I do think as the game progresses, maybe Lee Sin headed towards this Gragas is probably what we'll see.
Definitely towards mid and bot side, I think, for sure. Much more gankable. Everything else looks pretty normal in terms of the runes. Once again, is the Ghost picked up by K'Sante, kind of a mainstay up against the Gnar for sure.
Yep, extra power in these team fights, as well as a bit of sticking power if you are ahead. Easier to catch up to him. Obviously, Gnar kind of having 2 dashes with that W as well as the, or is it E, as well as the flash. Bone plating on Zeri, so a little bit more strength in this early stage.
One thing that I've been kind of thinking about recently is how different do you think PSG's record would be with Husha playing the whole time compared to Jinjia? Because there were some very close games where just having a slightly better jungler might have made the difference. Like, ultimately, it was Waku that carried a lot of those, right? At the same time, like, Jinjia, I think, consistently kind of goes, I want to say, invisible's the wrong word, but like under the radar in terms of his impact.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Maximizing the champ, we don't say. I definitely agree. I mean, it's hard to tell because we didn't get that much time with Husha.
Yeah.
But it feels like in certain games, like yesterday with that Elise, he was probably able to output more on Elise as the later the game went than most other players and almost certainly the rest of the league. So I do think that, I mean, I don't think you're that much different, to be fair, but when Husha was in the league, they were second.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe they are just all tied, you know, with CFO and Frank. Yeah. You see kind of a 3-way tiebreaker.
I don't think the difference is that huge where you'd, like, lose that many more, but maybe you've lost 1 or 2, like the game against Impunity, for example, the game against DCG. A lot more losable, perhaps, without sort of that value you get from Jinjia.
As we look back at the game, though, I mean, so far, not a whole lot has happened. Kind of, we used to see this matchup bot lane all the time of the Zeri Lulu, which kind of pressures early game, can kind of start to struggle once Lucian picks up that Dirk or the Gale Force. A lot of Lucians recently have been skipping the Dirk and just trying to get the Gale Force a little bit quicker, which is already, I actually think I like it more. I don't think the Dirk provides so much power that it's worth delaying Gale Force though, but it kind of depends, like how much you want to skirmish, how your lane is going.
Yeah, and I think ultimately Dirk becomes Collector unless you sell it, but what the meta has kind of turned into, you get a tank jungle, tank in the top. You don't really want Collector in your AD carry build anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you're fine to sit on it until late game, but just hasn't really found the same impact. We'll see, though, if Waku goes for it. As Husha, he's going to drop a ward here and path towards top. So actually, he's going to go for the reset.
Ozzy just winning out so far in this top lane and finding some good trades. We do tend to see K'Sante win these early game trades, but holding the minion wave here bot will be okay, honestly. This will push back regardless to Bruce. Maybe loses 1 or 2 minions. And interestingly, Bruce has opted for barrier this game.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Kind of curious not to have the Ghost. I feel like the Ghost gets you so much value up against K'Sante. Maybe is just worried about getting one-shot by, you know, the Gragas Lee Sin. It's surprising, though, because normally you go like the lifesteal build, you have a Lulu. Surely you don't need extra, like, tankiness. What you really need is the movement speed.
I would have thought so too, but I mean, has opted for the barrier. Will give you a bit more survivability, but it feels overkill with the Lulu, doesn't it? And
we'll see how it fares, I suppose. Long is getting pretty low. Does pop into Mega, though, and there's no one around nearby to punish him. As Husha, he's going to enter this bot river. They have a lot of mid-jungle prio. Can use it perhaps to just gain some vision. 10
seconds till Dragon, and Lee Sin definitely capable of sort of taking that one early, as well as Chemtech Drake, not the strongest of Dragons, and he has started it. So Dragon started on spawn for the side of PSG.
Does show an award, though. Can anyone get here in time? I don't think so. It feels like there might be too much lane pro. Wako's very low on mana, though. I don't know if anything can be done about that. Looks like they're still getting pro.
Yeah, we do see Lalva on the way, though, as Minji also does hit level 6. Yubel also level 6, and he is here first, so it might come down to a bit of a smite fight as Bubble lands onto Enso down the bottom side of your screen. Will be a smite fight by the looks of things. Does go over to Lalva, so huge pickup, and 5 minutes 30 in, J-Team end up with 1 dragon to their name.
Definitely not the start you want from Husha coming in here, subbing into a game that ultimately doesn't matter for standings, but keeping that win streak alive has to feel good going into playoffs. And while it's not a big lead whatsoever, it is the first Dragon here picked up by J-Team.
How annoying is Tibbers? Well, we see Wako fighting onto Bruce, and maybe here we're seeing the use of the barrier. It has saved him here. Wako quite low, on mana at least.
Yeah, if he didn't have the barrier, almost certainly would have died there. In fact, might still be in trouble.
Yeah, we do have flashes available for both of PSG's bot lane, and no barrier anymore for Bruce, so does have to be really careful here. Does keep getting trick shot by Lucian, so losing a bit extra health than possibly needs to, but will be recalling now and should be safe. But man, huge trade.
Ooh, can he be stopped here by Woody? He's gonna... Ooh, does not quite spot him with the sweeper. Will be reset matched here. Gonna look at Wako's items, see if the Dirk is picked up or if it will just be moving towards the Gale Force. Looks like it will just be going towards that Gale Force. The Noon Quiver now picked up.
Yep, and with items up in top lane, you feel like Ozzy will have pretty much control of these trades for a little bit. Although a little bit of poke can come out from Long.
I feel like Cassandre is just so hard to beat in lane. It's crazy, right? He ends up as this just insane blind pick, scales well, can do basically everything.
Yeah, and he has been nerfed recently, so...
Yeah, earlier in the split was even stronger. It's kind of crazy as well. I think the Cassandres have just gotten quite a lot better as well as what's gone on. Early on, I think there were some pretty outstanding Cassandre players, but it was definitely more of a mixed bag, right? Some players still not particularly comfortable on him, but now, pretty much every time Cassandre is played, it feels like a real force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely, as bot lane items, you have to favor Lucian at the moment. Getting a little bit of a damage advantage at least, but sustain for Bruce.
I really like what Yubao's done here. I think he's still... Ooh, heavy
Massive trade, yeah. No barrier available for Bruce, as Husha is looking down to bot side. It is warded out by Inso, so really good foresight knowing that this is an opportunity.
They don't have the barrier, but are level 6. I feel like this isn't really a dive, although Wako is culling. I mean, maybe they could play for it. They kind of have to, I think, now, because Herald will be given over, so you want some kind of trade. Not sure if they can bring Yubao down, so they're going to go for the 3v2.
Yeah, Bruce now will have to back out. Zippy will get him away by the looks of things. Q doesn't hit, but denying some minions, getting a plate onto your bot lane, it isn't too bad. Obviously, I think I favor the J team here, but ultimately not too bad in any case, as Yubao getting quite low in the bot lane. Husha looking though, Minji does have to be careful. Flash available, no teleport if he does go down.
Oh, and this blue looks like it will be taken away by Husha. Lava's going to path back on the bot side, most likely will drop this Herald for the bot tower. Husha actually could be in trouble. Doesn't have prior mid and is going to, needs to back out, unfortunately.
Realizes what's happening, does look to back out. As Zeri just goes in, pops that ult, isn't able to hit for now. PSG have to back out while that ult resets. Now that it's down, possibly can look. Culling exchanged. They're just ult exchange from 80 carries, but Wako's doing a fantastic job of sort of weaving in these Qs through the minions to just keep Bruce at such low health.
Bruce, does go down very low. Has the Vamp Scepter, though, to sustain at least a little bit back. Isn't super impactful this early in the game, but it does add up. And that first Dragon going the way of J-Team means that you'd kind of be expecting Lucian Nami to pick up a lot of these early drags, but can only grab the second one. This blue will actually go the way of PSG eventually. So it was just reset before, but did end up grabbing it.
All things kind of even, except a CS lead is now being developed in that bot lane. Actually fairly substantial, to be honest.
It is pretty solid. I think part of that is just because of the trade, right? Like of Lava being on Herald and giving up some of the plates and bot CS. Will it be worth it? We'll have to see. Wako now has the Gale Force completed extremely early into the game. Just has the Gale Force and a pink ward to his name. And can now start to get very aggressive on that. I mean, look at the item difference between the ADCs right now. It's pretty absurd. I think Lava's going to need to be in the area. And I would expect Dragon to just be started up by PSG. I really don't think you want to fight it as J-Team. Really try and buy at least a little more time for your Zeri to kind of even up the items.
Yeah, I absolutely do agree. And with them having so much priority over this dragon, it just means even more that Lalva managed to steal that first one away, you have to feel. Although they are positioning aggressively, our J team. Maybe they're looking to start up Dragon of their own. Like, as you said before, I'd have to favor PSG. I mean, Yubel is taking, a pretty even trade in the mid lane, as now Husha is down in the bot side, as well as Woody and Wako. Yubel on the other side. So an explosive cast will come out. It does land onto Minji, as Minji's flash tippers goes onto Husha. What can we find here? Lalva looking to take out Husha, although Ward jumps away. A lot of the half-health players in this team fight from both sides. Do we see Yubel tanking up this dragon to try and look for it? Tib is about to pass away.
I think they're trying to.
Yeah. Does manage to get it, but Wako will go down on the other side. Now, how much damage can J-Team cause? Woody looking a bit out of position here as Yubel.
He's trying to look for something back in.
And then just strolls through the wall.
Yeah, has the flash. Doesn't look like he's going to get anything. Maybe uncharacteristic mistake there from Wako, but it is first blood that goes to Lalva. Not the end of the world, I think, if he picks up that kill. And importantly, Dragon was picked up there by PSG. Definitely closer than I thought it would be, though. I was kind of expecting PSG to just come through and end up destroying that fight. Let's kind of see what happened, because I think, like, you've got the flank angle, you've got Lucian in a great position. I guess the cask wasn't the best. And Wako, he managed to kite out pretty well. Husha, though, lost a lot of health here for free. I guess initial engage by PSG isn't great, but they do have the Gragas poke. It is a little bit difficult for them to walk back in. And then Wako here, they've got the dragon actually eat forward and just pretty much instantly died for it. So it doesn't happen very often for him. And even when it does, he still carries after. So I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, just further proof that he is human and we're not just watching an AI on this AD carry. So that's always good to know. But top lane does now have Frozen Gauntlet on this Cassante. So really getting himself into a nice position in this game, as well as Wukong actually. Lalva for J-Team does have Divine Sunderer, so a lot of dueling potential now coming out for the team of J-Team.
Both Rod of Ages completed here as well. The scaling is going to start up. PSG, I think, a lot of the time, even against some of the weaker teams, they aren't insanely ahead in early game. They normally just look to play very solid out of the early game, sometimes build up lane leads, but it's never anything. It's not kind of like how Frank Esports and CFO play. They just play very kind of stock standard. And then once they come into that mid game, that's when they really take over. Unless they have Yubao on something like this Rise, they can really blow up in the early game. Normally they just get to this fight, or this kind of, this like third dragon, second dragon fight, and then Wako just kind of does Wako things.
Yeah, you have to wonder if, like, we've seen Husha have a couple of losses with this team, and you wonder if maybe Junjie coming in was that shot caller, which made their mid-game so spectacular. I'm not sure, obviously, I'm just speculating, but maybe that is part to play. I mean, Junjie, obviously being the jungler, often has a lot to say over what macro decisions are made.
Could be, and I think there's also something to say just for the actual micro ability as well, as we see a pretty heavy trade in the top side.
Yeah, I don't know if I favor this for Na. Cassante will go all out. Unstoppable to block the stun. Na is available. Can he catch up? Ghost is not available, so it looks like it's just a trade of the ults for now, and ults cooldown for Na, certainly lower.
That is the first tower, though, picked up for Wako, so getting the snowball that he needs. And as I was saying, I think that micro ability for the jungler does seem like it's a lot better for Junjie, right? Because Husha in both of these kind of early fights hasn't really found any impact at all, whereas Junjie almost always plays out those skirmishes extremely well. And those can certainly add up, right? This could have been Wako having a couple kills instead of just being 0-1. Although it has grabbed that tower. It will be the second Herald, picked up for the side of J-Team. I wonder where this one goes, though. Maybe just try and break mid with it.
You do have your bot lane top, so perhaps taking it up there, but an interesting decision to swap out. I guess getting Azaria a few more CS uncontested. Ward will spot out Husha down there, and it looks like the bot lane of J-Team will recall.
Okay, so they reset. Dragon's in another minute, and I think it's still, with only each team having one drag, it's still very easy to trade something for it. Like, you could trade top tower, get more gold, and just give it over. At the same time, having that very consistent win condition feels very nice, right? It's always nice to kind of have that to lean back on if things don't go as well as they should. It'll be interesting, though.
Will Wako be able to get this rapid fire cannon before it? It does only cost 700 gold when you have components. Picked up a bit of CS both mid and top so far, as well as first strike proccing as we just saw. Doesn't look like he will have time to recall here and head back to Dragon, so really unfortunate not able to get that for him.
J-Team, they're the ones with the control. They have a really good teamfight comp. As we were saying before, it's like relatively low execution. Can pretty much just ball up, press all your abilities, and that'll do most of it. Wako has to be careful if he gets chunked out. Doesn't really have lifesteal to speak of, although has a Nami.
Importantly, Cassante already down here. Obviously, Long does have access of that teleport, but Cryo now being given to PSG for this Dragon, as Rift Herald will be placed by JT mid, maybe to fight for Cryo themselves.
Herald. Ooh, will it get taken out? Don't think it will. Nope, gets the charge off, but not a whole lot of damage. As we see all 10 members around mid. Sidelane is being ignored and CS is being lost on that bot tier 2.
Yeah.
PSG, they are the ones to start this up.
Bruce fairly low here and does have shielding, but on the other side, Wako low on mana. It looks like PSG will be allowed to take this Dragon, although J-Team are positioning quite aggressively. Nice body slam by Yubao to ensure his safety. Azi here does find a knock up onto Minji. Won't be able to follow up on it for now, but
they get into the river.
Yeah, make it into the river. That's quite important. Yubao looking for a flank over here, as well as Azi. Both top laners going to meet up here around the Dragon Pit.
This is a long Dragon fight. Something's going to break eventually, though. Dragon's getting very low.
Yeah, Minji does flash and ult Yubao. Yubao getting extremely low. Does use the cast to try survive. He's on 1 HP for now. The other side, we see Long in the middle here. Azi will start to go on him. All out goes Azi. A lot of low health members. Minji is getting low as well to that culling. So far, it is a 0 for 0, but low health bars, and I think favoring PSG.
TPs can maybe come through, though. Both solo laners are resetting on the side of J-Team. They can TP back. Yubao TPs in as well.
Lalva extremely low here, though. He has to be so careful. It'll be so easy to die to the damage of PSG. Zeri uses ult, still had it available. It is Dragon claimed here by PSG, but what can J-Team find on the back of it? Zeri slowed by that cast. Really nice work by Yubao. Although Long chasing him will get Mega. Stun lands, and it looks like... for now, he survives, actually. Yubao body slams away. Long getting low now. Wako out of mana, so probably cannot follow. And no deaths, but Dragon picked up by PSG.
A Dragon is picked up. It's insane to me that in all of this action, it's only been 1 kill. And none picked up in that team fight, which is insane. So many low health bars so many times. But it's just so difficult to actually secure the kills. I mean, look at the damage. Just a lot put out for such an early game fight. I guess it just is the disengage from both teams though, right? You've got the Nami versus the Lulu. Something we saw time and time again earlier in the split. Kind of lead to some of these more stagnant, longer games. Now I'd say favored to PSG at least a little bit though, just because of the Dragons. At the same time, J-Team, they're remaining very competitive, especially with their strong 5v5 comp.
Yeah, definitely. PSG sort of taking an upper hand here. Gold lead pretty much the same, but you do love to have advantage when it comes to that Dragon. And you already know that with having Wako on your team, any team fight could be the last team fight and you just win. So
very true.
It's like you do have this insurance policy that most other teams don't, but team fighting against the J-Team is extremely difficult, as you pointed out. I think having this Cassante really does help PSG though, because you are able to just take someone out of the fight. If they do miss position, you can take them over a wall, and I mean, no one is able to duel the Cassante really, so definitely one benefit PSG have in terms of team fighting up against the massive wombo from J-Team.
And so was being looked at, the wombo of J-Team is now coming mid. Wako has sums though, as well as the Nami in his back pocket.
Bubble goes a bit wide, but massive chunk onto Lalva. Just look how much damage this Lucian's doing at 2 items and a pickaxe.
Yeah, just got a huge chunk of Bruce as well. Husha is going to be forced out once again.
Yeah, but that tip is being used. Feels quite nice for especially Wako as Ozzy and Long fight again. Long did commit nah to that.
There's a very short cooldown now, though. We'll be up for...
Yeah, it's already a quarter of the way through.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Yubel being looked at, but it is extremely hard to kill. Very tanky. Does not have the mercs, though. Actually engages forward.
Yubel getting a bit lippy.
He does get a small trade. I actually think he's still not really killable. Even if he is forward, he has the cask. Ooh, engaged on.
Looking, it is Cyclone used. Stun not coming through for Minji just yet, and it looks like he might just go down. Yeah, Q will secure it, and Lalva has picked up both 2 kills for J-Team, and you have to feel like the onus on him now to really get these team fights going and find a lot for his team.
It is nice for that 5v5. I think Yubel could have lived. Maybe the cask wasn't the best.
Wako going forward. Bruce getting chunked really low. Nice knock up with the Wild Growth to stop Ozzy there. As Husha looking for Minji in the top lane now. Will he find him? Dragon's Rage is available, but not willing to risk diving.
I think he could have R-flashed, but maybe just didn't feel like it was worth it. Using the flash before this dragon. It was Bruce who lost his flash on mid-wave, though, and now won't have that for that next fight. J-Team, 22 minutes in, though, they're still slightly ahead, and I think they have the better comp. If it wasn't PSG, I'd be thinking J-Team's in a really good spot. But there's always Wako difference.
That's just the thing, right? There's so many times where it's looked like PSG are going to be taken down, but as the later the game goes, you just have more and more faith in what Wako can do. So, I mean, Bruce is no slouch himself, but I think we've just got so much proof that Wako can pull through any game, so we'll have to see. But I mean, if there's ever a time to take them down, it would be with Junji and not on the squad.
Minji has the Void Staff second, and I'm not even sure what for. I didn't see any Merc treads, I don't believe, so to just go for that very early. A lot of the time you've been seeing the Roa into Rabadons on Annie. Roa into Void has definitely been interesting. Probably will pick up Rabadons a bit later, though. I guess maybe was expecting Merc treads to come through, but they just haven't. Yeah, there's actually just no MR really to speak of, so not too sure why he went for that. We'll have low AP, but we'll be able to deal with the kind of MR when it does come through.
Yeah, even on Ozzy, he's got literally no MR at all.
He's a bit of a tanky boy anyway, though. Be interested to see how much he just has base MR. Still, though, I feel like it's not really Minji's job to kill him, right? You want to try to kill the Nami or the Lucian or something. As Minji, he's being forced
getting
out.
Caught out a little bit, might have to commit the stun. Oh my god, nice kick there by Husha. Stun still available for Minji. Will be committed now, and flashes to get that cask to hit her away. So, well played to get away from that, but a lot used, especially with Dragon coming up now. Lalva, however, finding in a position onto Woody. Woody getting so low as Bruce jumps into the back. Ult will be committed by the Zeri. Wako finding an immense amount of damage. Ozzy now turning up to this team fight. Goes unstoppable. Happy to just back off. What will they find? Long is isolated down here on the bottom side as Dragon is started up by J-Team.
Well, started up by J-Team. Minji has the TP. Can he get it off? His base is going to get cancelled. I think that should be it for PSG. I think they can grab it now. The cancel on Minji's base was so important.
Yeah, Yubel looking again, so might even find it twice. Does, in fact. Long does get Mega now, as well as Minji has stunned. So Yubel in a bit of trouble. Can Ozzy save him? Yes, for now, as Dragon is disengaged from. Woody, Yubel, very, very low. Very important. And I feel like it was a mistake going to stop for a second time.
Yeah, they stopped the drag, and now Minji is actually going to get back. I think it was really nice by Yubel to cancel that base. But now some of that time has been lost. The TP's coming through, and Tibbers is almost up again if J-Team can play this slow enough.
Yeah, stun used onto Ozzy for now. Dragon will go the way of PSG as, wow, Lalva just dies in the back, really. I didn't even see what happened.
Then you got Gragas ulted into the pit.
Oh,
which
right,
is a bit
okay.
unfortunate for him. We'll probably get a replay of it. Did try and walk up to smite away the drag, but ultimately did not get it. And now it's 3 drags to PSG and a slight gold lead. I think most of the dragons themselves aren't particularly impactful. It's really the soul. But I think Infernal Drag is really, really nice. Obviously for your carries, it's giving them a lot of stats. But even for some of the tanks on your team, it can just give them a little bit of extra damage.
Yubel here fighting Long.
He has no
Quite
flash.
a lot of damage, but Yeah, Yubel no flash, and Long will find the solo kill there, so bit of a mistake by Yubel.
And not having the best game. Might need to tighten up the champ pool just a bit again. I think he's still done decent in fights though. Like I think in that last fight did buy his team quite a lot of time. Also had a great cast. If we pay attention to the end of this, as we see Lava try to walk up, but actually extremely good cast from Yubel. Didn't even notice how many of the other members that hit, but as I was smack talking as Gragas, he did play that fight very well.
No, he certainly did. And he has played the champion pretty well in general. He's found himself getting out of tight situations with maximizing his damage multiple times. Obviously the 2 deaths, don't want them, and I mean, I don't hate it anyway. He has performed very well in these team fights, but ultimately, as you were saying about this Infernal Dragon, it's going to feel so nice for Lucian with the rapid fire cannon. We've already seen Wako just gets empowered by Nami and ease to find the auto attacks from that empowered, range rapid fire gives you. And with the Infernal Dragon, it just makes it hit even that harder.
Both lifesteal items now completed for Bruce on the Zeri. It's going to need that to help, sustain back what is a lot of damage, like you said, with the Infernal. Wako on the Lucian is just going to be doing so much damage. It can be lifestealed up, so it's much more difficult to just poke out Bruce with the culling.
Wow.
Though.
Yeah,
he's still a victim.
That's right. No real tanky stats on the Gnar yet, so is taking damage. As we do see an engagement top. Yubel possibly caught out, although nice cast to Lava back into his team. Husha's trying to take him out. Wild Growth committed onto that Wukong, but perhaps not the ideal target, as he's slowly working away at Long here. Will disengage, so just a few ults used, and I don't know about sums. I don't think anything was. Doesn't look like it.
Every fight feels like so much damage is dealt, but no one ends up going down. PSG most likely will just play towards 4th Dragon, although RG's going to face check Minji.
Yeah, gets stunned up, but even though no MR and against the Void Staff, it's not really that impactful.
Is now looking towards the Rabadons, I think, on Minji, which, will be very spiked on that. I don't think he'll be able to get it before this next drag, though.
Nice damage from Wako. Bruce getting caught out a little bit here. Will have to commit the Shirelias and the Flash.
And once again, Bruce losing Flash on mid-wave before the Dragon fight, I think is really important. That's got to stop happening, but he's contesting too hard when his teammates aren't there to back him up. And Lucian Nami, one of the best combos in the meta, at just punishing ADCs on that mid-wave. The engage is both so long-ranged and so much damage. A minute 30. Bases will come through. Can any more items be completed? It's 2 needlessly large rods on Minji. Can't get the Rabadons. 3.5 items on Wako's Lucian. It's really, really strong.
Black Cleaver almost done for Lee Sin too, which will add to the amount of damage Wako can actually provide in these team fights, as well as Arzi. So, item spikes nearing completion for both teams, and I feel like, out of all of them, you have to feel like Rabadons is the most important. Other than that, perhaps Zeri getting, I imagine, looks like a Navori Blades next.
Yeah, probably won't be able to get anywhere near. I think Zeri...
Yeah, 50 seconds, definitely not enough time. But you can't give over this dragon, so...
No, you definitely can't. I think you have to contest this. Probably just need to group up and try use your 5v5. I could definitely see whichever team picks up this fight, perhaps going to Baron after, although we haven't seen many members go down. It's getting to the point, though, where there's so much damage that people will die, especially the junglers who...
Yeah, look at that chunk onto Bruce. That was just 2 autos, maybe a Q, and he's down to half. Does, thankfully, have the Bloodthirst and Shield Bow, so we'll be able to get a bit of that life back in the next 15 seconds prior to Dragon spawning, but...
I wonder if PSG can keep him away from the wave. If you can stop him from actually life-stealing, then you can't really make use of that. They are pushing up pretty far.
Bruce actually going to look for poke on Husha, but we'll get access to the wave now, so should be happy enough to get back to full health prior to this, as Husha now down here does start it up, and PSG with a lot of prio towards this, and Mega Gnar will be coming in soon, so possibly not ideal timing on this Mega Gnar. Looks like you'll have to find something at the end of it, and it always feels so scripted when you are already in Mega Gnar before a fight. Lava, however, down the bottom side will be falling now. That's a massive find as the Dragon Soul's up. It feels like J-Team have just thrown any chance of getting this one, as Bruce positioning aggressively, possibly look for a 5v4. Wako, however, will get flash tibbers. He is okay to cleanse that. Bruce finds Woody on the side, but he's now in the middle of 4 members of PSG. Explosive cast onto 4 as Ozzy's all out. What can you do as J-Team? You have to stop this dragon, but I mean, low health bars on PSG. Minji finding a lot of damage onto Ozzy is extremely low. Husha, however, still in the pit. Meganar comes through for a second time. Wako poking away from the side, as is the Gragas. Can't really threaten any auto attacks though on this Lucian. Does go back, finds a little bit of damage on Enso. Gragas will go down. Ozzy though finds his recall and teleport. Wako has to be immensely careful as Lalva now is back on the map and running towards this dragon.
Wako was trying to deal what DPS he could. I wonder if maybe it would have been better to stay out of combat and just get the red buff regen. I think red buff is gone now and he hasn't got a reset, so I think J-Team should be the ones to pick this up. And gonna keep this game going. Husha, though, he's gonna want to try contest. Can they delay it long enough? I mean, Zeri's not here. Wako's passing out. It is a 4v5.
3v4 even.
3v4?
Yeah, Ubel still did it. Ubel, importantly, 14 seconds, he will be alive.
Ooh, they're gonna get
Yeah,
Minji.
Minji looks like he will be falling. Ozzy...
Not quite.
Yeah, Wild Growth does make him survive. Tidal Wave coming in. Nice find by Wako, using that rapid fire to pick off Enso on the back. Ozzy going forward is extremely tanky currently as Ubel misses the cast and Bruce finds an amazing ult but will go down. Is it worth it? Lalva now will be... actually finding a lot of damage onto Wako. Wako's flash is Ozzy now left to 1v3. Can he get out? No, he will not. So, honestly, I don't even know what happened, but Bruce ran in there, got a double kill with that ult, and then Lalva managed to solo Wako on the side.
It's somehow J-Team are the ones that come away with that fight win. Don't have enough DPS alive to go to the Baron, but Lalva was the beneficiary of so many of these kills early on and certainly made it worth it. Him and Bruce, I mean, really put that fight on his back there. They're actually pinging towards the Baron, so they want to do it. They might be able to. There's still a really long death timer on Wako, who is, 90% of PSG's damage here.
Yeah, Mini R2 does a little bit more damage than Mega, so you will have Mini for this whole time, and it doesn't look like Husha can get here in time, so perhaps Baron also going down. So massive team fight fine, and honestly, in this game, assuming you don't lose over one of these dragons, you have to favor J-Team going forward.
You do, but how many times have we seen PSG in this situation where they're in a game that they shouldn't win and then somehow Wako pulls it out of the hat? I mean, it looks definitely favored towards J-Team. See what happened? I mean, the initial pick on the Minji, what is he doing here, by the way? I don't even know why he's here, but it is taken out. All right, isn't quite taken out. Oh, Long actually failed to jump over the wall. Didn't see that during the fight, but that could have changed things completely. And then Enso is sniped away here. Minji managed to live, but was very low for a very long time. And I think here it was Bruce that actually just traded places pretty much. Went over the wall, found the double kill. At this point, though, it looked good for PSG. I think Wako was perhaps just surprised by how much damage Lalva did. Walked straight into him. And then, just kind of got taken out by him, pretty much solo. So not enough respect there from Wako. It was inside of J-Team that pick up the fight. And he has the Rabadons now, which is really important. It has a lot of damage. Yeah,
and look at that team fight damage. Actually, Nah looking like the MVP of that. So, well played by Long. Even though he failed that jump over and wasn't involved for so long, managed to be the highest damage dealer. So, very impressive by him. And he will be very strong against this Lucian now that Thornmail is completed.
Tower does go down on the side. PSG, they're ping on mid-wave. They want to try force something before they can siege with Baron. Is the fight what you want here, though? I think you need to make a pick. I'm not sure you would win a 5v5. Seems like J-Team's combo just in the pure 5v5 is a bit too strong.
As he found by that Zeri W. I mean, you always have, with the power of Lee Sin, if Husha finds one good kick onto Bruce...
Maybe looking at Long.
Yeah, Long. Will be okay for now. Now, will Bruce be able to get this tower? You have to think so with the Baron-empowered minions, as well as how much priority they have around mid. It does go down.
Does indeed, and this should be the second one going down bot in short order as well. They're going to rotate members down. Actually, Bruce is not coming, so I think PSG can look to clear this up. Interesting lane assignments. Don't think it's going to net them anything more.
Not for now anyway, but definitely getting a lot of control over this over this jungle, and 2 minutes until the next dragon. 40 seconds left on Baron. Seems like they might pick up this bottom tower now. If they don't get it in this next wave, you have to feel like they won't be getting it. So PSG all coming down here to match. Ubel a bit late, but will they be able to stop it? Bruce has done a lot of damage already. Does have to be careful of Lee Sin's Dragon's Rage, though. Wako finding a massive trade onto Long. Will he get him? Not just yet. Heal does come out from Enso. But wow, look at the damage you can do there as Ubel kind of wastes Flash on the side. Nice clone by Lalva, but you feel like it was a bit of an overcommittal by Ubel to have used that Flash.
Yeah, it was insane as well. The Long managed to hold the Flash the whole time. I mean, it was getting extremely low. But importantly, will have it for this Dragon fight. Only a minute away. I think PSG, they're going to want to contest this, but I honestly think this team fight is probably favored towards J-Team. They have such good AoE, and importantly, it's so simple to execute. We've seen a lot of people, or a lot of teams, get ahead against PSG, but then fail to out-execute them in those late-game team fights. But if you can't out-execute PSG with a comp this simple to play, I'm not sure how PSG will be beatable.
Yeah, well, notably, as you said, it is not Junjie today, and I honestly, you do feel a bit more confident in PSG with Junjie. I genuinely feel like J-Team can probably take this, and I mean, they're looking so good, and the only real hope is Wako, but that tends to be the case anyway. I mean, that guy is just crazy good, and he did just pick up LDR, so a lot more damage will be able to come out of him, and looks like he will be going last item, I mean, either GA or Bloodthirster, but here we go. We do see Wako trying to trade some damage onto Bruce, as Bruce is just chasing Arzi down. Ghost actually committed, so, and Lalva finds a nice... will he find Wako? Wako does go down. And so now I feel like as PSG, you just have to disengage. Bruce finding a lot of damage here, does commit the ult and will find more auto attacks. Arzi will be going down as well.
I think it's over. I think J-Team have done it. I think they've ended PSG's win streak.
Yeah, it does certainly look that way, and I don't think, I mean, there is no Baron minions. Can you clear out this minion wave? I don't think so. Explosive Cask is available, so perhaps you can clear one wave and get enough time for Lucian to come back up. Minji flashes onto Ubel. Wave is almost clear. One creep will do it for them, though. Minji finds his first death of the game, as the Nexus will go down and J-Team find their win. And oh my god, how sad are you to be them? They lost yesterday. They managed to win against probably the hardest game they're going to have, and they still can't make playoffs. That feels so tragic.
Even Wako's got a big smile on his face. I mean, I'm not sure how PSG feel about that. They got their win streak and the long last. There will always be that little asterisk there of, sure, they didn't have Junjie, but at the same time, you know, it's a very strong roster that J-Team just took out, and I want to say a little bit of a draft difference. I think that just the comp coming out of J-Team was a lot better, but credit to them, they did manage to execute well enough to take out that game, and a lot of those fights, I do kind of feel like if PSG had played them a tiny bit better, would have won, and that's maybe what Junjie offers you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was, what a crazy game. And I think sort of the unsung hero and what you didn't really see, I mean, you saw it in the graphs, but Long was putting out so much damage in those fights. Like, you thought Bruce was really doing it, and that's what I thought. I mean, I saw him E into 3 people and instantly kill 2 of them, so I was like, wow, Bruce must have done heaps, but actually Long being that real damage dealer in the back there, as well as Lalva finding some really crucial picks onto Wako and disallowing him from being that late game carry. I mean, the fight at the Dragon, for that third Dragon, he was able to find Wako there, as well as at the end.